I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Hello, and welcome back to the Hauer Hour. It's been a while. You know, some life happened. Some work happened.
Sure.
Some things happened. But we're here, and we're discussing the life and work of the Dutch actor Rutger Hauer.
We should discuss his life more.
We've gone a little off topic and gotten into that, but, you know, I've read the autobiography.
Yeah.
And there's stuff in there about what we're talking about tonight. Although I couldn't find it today through leafing back through it. But tonight we're discussing his Guinness ad campaign.
Yes.
The Pure Genius ad campaign, which is so weird.
It is truly bizarre. There are, somewhere from 5 to 10 of them.
Yeah.
And it was a very successful campaign as well. I believe there was an uptick in Guinness sales of somewhere in the 15 to 20%.
That's madness.
Within the
ads
European market or something to that effect. Yeah.
These ads don't sell beer at all. They're just weird concept ads.
Yeah, they're sort of these existential nightmares that are about Guinness.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm getting ahead of myself. This is my best friend, Mac Hamilton.
Hi.
And we are joined today by very special guests on loan from the VHS Wall podcast, engineer Mike Pelly.
Yeah, it's me.
It sure
It's
is.
me. Again,
And the lovely
yeah.
Allison.
Hello.
So what we're going to do is just go through ad by ad and then comment on each one afterward. Because it's a lot to take in. We've tried to do this once before. And, it's probably better to just take it one at a time.
Yeah, because they all, even the ones that are only about 20 seconds long have a completely different bizarro setting.
Yes.
So I think that will allow us to explore each one thematically.
I agree.
To its full potential.
Without further ado, we'll dive into the first one. And cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, shooting off
yeah,
point.
yeah.
Here we go.
Okay. Here goes nothing.
Chu says cheers.
Oh, also, we should say that for me, I'm going to be drinking Guinness for the first time
Wow.
tonight.
Yeah.
As
First
part of this
time.
podcast. Should I take a sip now and give my first impressions, or should I wait?
Let's do a little review of Guinness from you.
Okay.
Right now.
Yeah.
And then see if you like it
tasting
better
notes.
after Hauer advertises it to you.
Right, yeah. I'm like, oh, no, it was good all along. Okay, here's my first sip and my first impressions. Feel free to fill the air while I do this. Yeah, I like that.
Good.
It's light, but
Is
it's
it cold?
heavy at
Is
the
it-
same time.
Is it cold enough?
It's cold enough.
Mhm.
It's sweet. It's a little hoppy, but not to the point that it bothers me.
It's not really
Bitter?
It's not really bitter, and I don't feel like it's terribly hoppy.
There's just more than like a Bud Light, which is what I normally
Yeah,
drink.
I'm aware
Just
you have
water.
you're a man with a very specific palate.
Yeah.
Does it
I
taste?
like it.
Does it taste oaky?
It tastes better than okay. I would say it tastes good.
No.
No,
Not
he said
okay.
oaky, as
Oh,
in
it tastes like oak, the wood.
Oak the wood.
Oh, let me take another sip and tell
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, this tastes like the time I ate oak.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
Shall we do the first ad?
Let's
Yeah.
do the first ad.
And here we go to.
We're gonna throw this sound in.
And we got
3,
some audio
2,
from that.
1.
Now we turn on
And here's Joel Kinnaman talking about Suicide Squad.
The world revolves at 1,000 miles per hour. It's enough to make you dizzy. Talk amongst yourselves. I may be sometime. If you keep an open mind, you'll discover dark secrets. Have you been here long?
Okay, so we just watched the first of the ad campaign.
Yes.
And the longest. It's like 1:40.
Yeah.
And I want to say it's like the centerpiece of the whole.
It's the thesis statement.
Yeah.
Like, it encapsulates a lot of weird thematics that come back, and also, like, a surrealist tone.
Which is not to say it makes any sense.
No.
It does not. But it's like, yeah, it's like a mission statement for the ad campaign where it's like, here's a bunch of weird shit, and Rutger Hauer is there drinking Guinness.
Yeah.
The sense it does make is it makes me feel really good.
Okay, let's walk through it. So it opens on
Let's try.
what? Like, there's like a castle in some mountains, and there's fog.
Yes.
And you zoom in on the castle.
Yeah. Doesn't it go? Does it go through?
It goes through the window.
Yeah,
Yes.
like some psycho shit.
And it's the back view of him sitting in a black cloak
Yes.
with legs crossed, and then he turns his head over his shoulder and says...
He's like, the world revolves, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, how fast it revolves, right?
Yes. And
Yeah.
then
It's like, it's
And
enough to make
then-
your mind explode.
it's enough to make your mind explode. And then it pans up to a light bulb, which turns into like a weird psychedelic tunnel. And then there's an explosion.
Yeah.
And then I want to say it cuts somehow to him inside of a giant clock,
Yeah, he's like
Yes.
blocking the gears of a clock.
drinking a Guinness.
Yeah.
And he just like stops the hand of the clock.
Yeah. He's like gumming up the works of it. When do we zoom into the glass of Guinness? Because each shot...
That's about to
They
happen.
do that often,
Because, yeah, he says some shit, which you will have just heard, listener. And then,
The
like,
one that one listener, a single listener.
yeah, shout out to our one listener. Thank you. What happens is, like, the clock gets flooded with water, and then the water turns into, like, pouring Guinness.
Yeah, like the Guinness, like, pouring in the glass, which then...
Oh, what I forgot to mention is that the clock thing happens after, like, a weird mash cut of, like, somebody crushing a can of beer. Anyway,
I don't remember that.
it happens.
Oh. Was it really fast?
It was very fast.
Wow,
The water
must have-
flowing turns
have blinked.
into somebody pouring a can of Guinness, and then you zoom in on, like, the...
The wheat fields.
Yes.
There's like a
Yeah.
there's like a dissolve, like a
Between-
2001-esque dissolve between like the beer like
Yes.
settling in a glass and the wheat like blowing like some Terrence Malick shit.
Exactly. And then there's a scarecrow in a field, we pan around, and
Yeah.
it's Rutger Hauer who's a scarecrow now.
Mm-hmm.
There's-
And then go ahead.
There's a bead of sweat
Yes.
dropping
Yes.
down his brow, almost into his eye, and he says something nonsensical again.
Yep.
I don't remember what.
Something weird. That has nothing to do with beer. It's like
yeah.
something about you secrets in the dark. Or like we just watched this
Anyway,
weekend.
then it
Anyway.
zooms into his eye.
No, it zooms
No,
into
it zooms into the
sweat
drop,
drop? Oh,
and
the
there's
sweat
a
drop.
fucking whale inside.
Oh, yeah.
Which
a
is
white whale.
Yeah, which both conjure sort of almost like a Lynchian unreality to it, but also obviously like Pinocchio. Like it's very otherworldly. And then we're
Or
inside.
perhaps even who's the guy who no, who's the guy in the Bible that went to the whale?
Jonah.
Jonah.
Mm,
And,
But
it is a beluga. It's a beluga whale. Right? It's a
Okay.
white whale.
Right.
And you go inside the whale's mouth,
yeah.
and then
Then he's playing checkers with someone in like
in some kind of weird nautical hell.
yeah, and
He's
then
in
it's
a
just
top hat.
he's in it looks like
Yeah.
Abraham he's playing checkers with Abraham Lincoln, and Howard like looks over at him like concerned, is like, have you been here long? And then
Yes.
a white checker goes down, which dissolves into the head on a pint of Guinness.
Yes.
And then over that we see Pure Genius, which is the name of this ad campaign.
So
Pure Genius.
bonkers crazy and yet so beautiful.
It makes pure genius doesn't make sense to me
No.
though, but I love it because it's fucking.
It's
weird.
like 80s Coke Logic ad exec, where it's just like, here's what we're gonna do.
I feel like
got
we
the
looked
right
into
one,
this
baby.
right, and like the people that made the ad campaign are like like one of the most prestigious ad firms
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah, I think they were, and I think still are, like a pretty big deal within the advertising realm.
Which is crazy because it's not even. I don't understand this ad.
It's like these dudes just saw like a bunch of art movies, and then we're like, okay, we have Rutger Hauer and the Guinness campaign, and Guinness like has someone weird in charge who's like, yeah, I want to do something different, and they're like, you want different?
Here's a really different.
Yeah, it's like I've been like,
It has nothing to do with beer.
yeah.
It's not gonna like make you want the product necessarily.
I feel like there were like a couple mandates where it's like we want to see Rutger Hauer holding a glass of beer.
That's
Yeah.
Like this is
That's
the
it.
only thing that it has
it's
to be.
aesthetically pleasing to the eye.
Yeah, Rutger Hauer.
Isn't
beer?
that a well?
two things I like a
Dark,
lot. So
Coke-looking beer.
I've only seen 2 so far, but he is always holding a glass.
I think he's holding a
Guinness.
glass in almost
does he
every
sip
one
from
of
it?
them.
Are the
Almost every
rules
scene.
different in Europe about that?
He definitely sips from it because there's one where there's a sight gag involved
Can
with
you
that,
not
which
do
I
that
won't
here?
spoil.
You
but yeah.
cannot do that in
Oh, I didn't
in
know
the
that.
U.S. Yeah, in a beer ad, you can't actually drink the beer.
You just hold it,
Yeah,
and then they do a lot of pouring.
they do a lot of
Yeah.
pouring.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on to the next one then. Yes.
I've been accused of taking myself too seriously. Not guilty.
Yeah. So in this next spot, Rutger's in a art museum.
Art gallery,
I mean, I don't know. Like,
darkened gallery, private
a
gallery.
castle. Like it could
Castle
be a-
slash art gallery. And
Yeah.
he's looking in a mirror.
He's in a stronghold.
Yeah, and he's looking in a warped mirror, examining his own visage,
Mm-hmm.
and says, people have accused me of taking myself too seriously. He's a serious actor. He's done a lot of serious roles. You know what I'm saying. And then he takes a sip of the gin and ends up with some foam on his nose.
He looks like a Got Milk commercial.
He does, and he says not guilty. It's very funny. And then
He doesn't say
he
that.
goes, Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, he does?
It ends with
Yeah.
him saying "not guilty." Freeze frame.
Oh, I
Pure
didn't-
genius.
That's what I remember. I thought
Look
it
at
said,
this asshole.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's weird that like. I'm just so curious about the creative process of these ads and like how
I agree.
specifically they seem to cater to a, I don't know, like European market,
I
whatever
don't
that
get it
means.
because like the last one, the one
where
we
they're
just
like
discussed is
they're
not
trying to be
funny, but this
sophisticated,
one-
but it's like faux sophisticated because
Yeah.
they're not saying anything.
No.
They're just like
You're just weird.
Well, I feel like it's like a different director for the same franchise. You know what I'm saying?
you're saying this is the Rennie Harlan to Ridley Scott's first Pure Genius ad
I am.
because Ridley Scott allegedly directed the first ad.
Yeah.
Oh right,
and,
Yeah.
and they seem different.
that makes sense.
Yeah, well, the
Because-
first one's like really well shot.
Like take 48
and is
hours, part one.
Weird and high concept.
The first one feels like it would be a Ridley Scott ad because he does ads.
Yeah,
And that
well, I
one's,
mean,
like,
he's
very
done some of the
cinematic.
most infamous or famous, well, maybe a little bit of both, ads of all time. Like he did,
The
like
Apple
the
ad.
Apple ad and a bunch of other crap.
Yeah, well, and that one's not funny, and this one's like very irreverent and just like
Right.
"Doi."
Yeah, and I mean, most of them actually end up on the side of irreverent as opposed to weird and
agree,
like
but only-
short art film self seriousness.
Yes.
But yeah, that's the disconnect I think between like the main ad, such as it is, and the other ones, is they all operate as like a weird joke.
I agree with what you were saying earlier, though, like how people use European as a term for just like weird.
Yeah,
That's like kind of exactly how I would describe these. Like,
Yeah.
they're European.
yeah. It's like the
By
Studio
which I mean
Canal
they're-
produced like Guinness ads or something.
They're just weird, and I don't know why.
Right? Yeah.
And this is how weird they are.
Cheers.
Oh, you didn't fill mine.
Wait.
Oh, do you
I
need
was
more
left
brown?
out.
Oh, Allison didn't get a little bit of brown. She didn't
Thank
get some
you.
brown.
I want
Yeah,
to be,
the
I want to be
Browntown.
a part of the
Deep
gang.
dark.
I want
glass
you to
of
be a
Guinness.
part of the gang.
Part of the Browntown gang.
All right, let's do this.
All right, let's go.
Let's
Let's
do
do
this
Browntown.
proper.
Cheers,
Cheers.
y'all. And then the next ad.
We have all the time in the world. Time enough for life to unfold all the precious things love has in store. We have all the love in the world. If that's all we have, you will find we need nothing more. Only love.
All right, so the one we just watched is actually the like Redux version. Like, it was a early 2000s.
Yeah, but
callback.
there are two of them. There's definitely one more where he's
Yeah.
older, but this is
Yes.
this one thematically and stylistically evokes the first one, the original 1 minute 40-second Pure Genius ad.
But it's shorter. It's a normal advert length, and it's just kind of like a psychedelic trip through
it's like-
various Guinness glasses with Guinness in them and weird psychedelic landscapes. And Hauer happens to be on a TV.
Yeah, it's flashing back to his prior ad campaign, but it is almost like a Mobius strip.
Yes.
So it would seem, at least with the YouTube quality that we have, where he's consistent. It's like the camera's like zooming through all these things, almost like an Enter the Void style sequence.
It's all monochromatic with
Yeah.
the
Yes.
beer color, and then the
Golden
TV is the
amber.
one.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Very conceptual.
I mean, honestly, the only reason I want to talk about it is that the music that they're using is the Louis Armstrong song from On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Oh, that's what, like I knew that was Louis
Yeah.
Armstrong, but I forgot that connection.
Yeah, I mean that's why it
Interesting.
sounds like a Bond song with the arrangement.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah, that makes a lot of
John
sense.
Barry produced that track.
What do you think the logic was behind bringing back an ad campaign?
I think it must have been like so fondly remembered that they wanted to like remind you that that was a thing.
That's so
right?
weird.
I mean, that happens in like American advertisements sometimes.
I suppose that does. Are we gonna get like a make 7-Up yours like?
No,
like
I mean,
that'll come back.
Somebody's very recently done
I see
that. Well,
that.
there's somebody. I don't know if it's Geico or someone's bringing back like SNL bits
Oh yeah.
as ad campaigns,
Which is funny,
Oh
because
yeah, there
those
was a
were-
Coneheads one. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an insurance company. I can't remember what it is, but
I
they
think
did
they've
like
done a
Hans and
couple of
Franz,
those.
Hans
and
and
they
Franz,
did
yeah.
Coneheads.
Yeah.
The
What
Coneheads commercials are totally back,
Yeah.
and it's very awkward to watch.
It's
I don't
awkward
like
because
it.
it's like
who's it for?
it's
Like,
our
they-
parents' generation.
They must know that their target
so
demo is
that's
like
who they're
our
doing,
parents.
because no one else would know those references.
Well,
I mean, we do.
I mean, we
do,
do, but younger
nerds.
generations wouldn't know
Yeah,
that.
that's true. I always get a little thrown off whenever this is a digression, but it always seems weird to me when people talk about like how little like familiarity people have of our general like age range, like culturally speaking. With like I feel very outside the lexicon if that's the case. Maybe just because I spent so much time like watching TV and movies. But
Well,
it feels like
yeah.
a little alienating when like that's the general conception.
I agree, and
Yeah.
I think it's and also people at the same time people complain about people being too this generation / ours. I guess we're kind of lumped into it. A
Which
group of
generation
folks.
are we again?
We are the millennials.
We are the millennials. Okay.
but that also encompasses like people that were born in the 90s.
Right.
And so, like, people really complain about this, like, false nostalgia for stuff that happened in the 90s.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because I actually remember, like, some or most of that. But they're complaining about people who are, like, too young to remember that. But, like, and now that's, like, back in the zeitgeist.
Right.
And what I'm saying is just, like, you can't complain about that and then at the same time say that, like, these people don't remember stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Or, like, can't appreciate that stuff. It's like, well, I don't know. Full House is coming back for a reason. And I don't think it's for the people that are, like,
Boy Meets
38
World
now.
kind of just came
Yeah.
back.
No.
Yeah, Girl Meets World, yeah.
But I mean, not for. It's for a different
It's, yeah.
generation.
Yeah.
Is it?
'Cause it's on Disney. It's
Yeah.
for like
That's the
it's,
other thing. It's like all those shows are in syndication. So,
Yeah.
like,
There's shows that are like made to exist sort of on like a loop, I think.
Yeah.
And like the
Yeah.
nostalgia, like that opens it up hypothetically to two different generations. If it's like a parent being like, oh, this was like my show, and now it's like the new iteration.
but I never would have watched it if my parent was like, yeah, you should watch the Cosby Show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you
Poor
have
choice,
to.
but like,
Yeah.
No, but that
shit
makes
was on
perfect
Nick
sense.
at Night, so like I
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
it.
Yeah, but at
Oh,
the
Nick
same
at Night.
time, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's it. I just like Nick at Night. I
Nick
watched
at
a
Night
lot.
was the best.
I watched
Is
a
that
lot of
the best
that.
one?
There are some things.
I
that
watched
are
a lot of that
timeless.
when I was a kid.
Like You know,
I think
like what's great about the whole like I'm sorry to go on this, but like Star Wars right now is that you can. I'm not going to dive into it, but I'm just going to say that right now it's at a point where it's accessible for kids of all ages to be just as excited about it as we are, having been involved with.
I agree with that. Actually, I think that's like a reason not to knock the prequels.
Right, because there are people
some people that
like
were
it.
children and
They
grew up with those movies and love them.
Because those movies are pretty spectacular from a child's point of view.
I think if we'd been a little bit younger when those had come out,
like they're not defensible as movies, but like as an experience for like a young person, they're probably great.
And also, I mean, again, not to get horribly digression-y, but Star Wars Episode 2 looks like shit, but also like started off like
it did
a big digital wave.
Yeah.
And you have to give it a lot of credit.
Keanu movie? That's where I first learned that.
Yeah, the film versus digital movie that he does. Where David Lynch talks to him and says,
Hey,
"Well,
Keanu."
Keanu." Yeah.
It's on Netflix, or at least it was.
Yeah, it's really good because he gets interviews with like pretty much every person you could possibly want to hear their opinion. Because so it's like Soderbergh just being like, "Fuck film."
Yeah, and then you got Nolan.
Yeah,
you got Scorsese,
Fincher,
everyone.
Yeah, it's a really good doc.
Last off-topic thing I'll say is like,
who fucking cares?
I know.
Just go for it.
Sorry, that's what I was saying. Sorry, I was thinking. It's like I don't mean to go off topic.
I'm glad you brought it up, though. This is a conversation I wanted to have.
But that's the thing. It's just like that in itself is kind of bizarre because it's a weird like cross like old.
It's a cross-generational
thing, which is it's like a constant. It's cool.
That's the thing that I find hypothetically encouraging about the idea of Star Wars is like there's like Marvel movies and like superhero movies, but like Star Wars is something that like seems to transcend like every demographic. Where it's like
true.
Most people have seen Star Wars. Most people have like a familiarity or like a sort of at least like a vague warmness towards like most people aren't just like
I had a great conversation about Star Wars earlier today at the bar. Like everyone knows Star Wars. Everyone's seen those.
And like see like the idea of
even
like
the prequels. Everyone saw them.
Yeah, like
this is Star Wars.
Yeah, Allison's looking down. She wants the conversation to revert back to Pete.
Just no, not even that. Like I was just thinking about how when I was a kid on Nickelodeon, it would revert to that at a certain amount of time.
Right after Snick.
Yeah, so then I would watch I Love Lucy and all of those shows.
I read today that they're going to bring back Doug and Rugrats.
Wow, really?
But as new shows or just airing them
again?
New shows.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like those that can work.
I had a lot of fondness for Doug.
It works if it's the same creators.
Right.
I had a lot of fondness for Doug until it got brought to the Disney Channel.
Yes, and then they ruined everything.
Well, because like Doug on the like Nickelodeon proper was actually sort of like this interesting like character piece.
It was very weird and
cool. It was very
cool.
true to itself and its reality. And then when it went to Disney, it got like noted in a weird way.
And the character designs changed like a bunch.
Yeah, it just didn't work.
I had no idea.
I think Rugrats.
Yeah, there's a discernible difference. It's
Rugrats shit the bed when it went to movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like,
I don't have
so much better as a show.
I don't have like fondness for Rugrats all that much. Like in retrospect,
no, great theme song.
Sure.
It's all about Ren and Stimpy and Rocko's Modern Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ren and Stimpy
and Kablam.
My parents wouldn't even let me watch that because of just how foul it was.
Is that on Blu-ray? Because I would totally buy Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah,
it's definitely on DVD.
It's on DVD. I have it.
Another one.
It fucking holds up. That show.
I feel like I would love that.
You know what holds up? I'll tell you right now. Have you guys ever seen Comedy Bang Bang?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So there's that.
We discussed this earlier.
Yeah. Oh, we did.
I'm a big
For
fan.
listeners, we discussed this earlier. That's why.
Guys, it's just the Brown talking, okay?
It's the
I'm
Brown
going to
talking.
see Andy Daly on Wednesday.
I picked up a DVD about a year ago on tour, Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Sure.
And I've been watching this DVD, and it is timeless, man.
But Side note, my second cousin is on. He's on Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Really?
Yeah, he is a professional yodeler.
Mm-hmm. What? He did the Yahoo commercial.
Yahoo!
Yep.
That was Wiley Gustafson.
Yeah, Allison is related to
Shout
a Yahoo.
out.
Shout out.
Big time.
Wiley Gustafson.
We've gone wildly off topic.
I'm sorry.
Should we move on to the next tab?
We should do it.
Okay.
That's probably wise.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Before we get deeper in the thicket.
That has nothing to do with it.
conventional wisdom, a sandpit for an ostrich. At the University of Life, we run a different course. Entitled, Who Am I? Pay attention. I may be asking questions.
So, what was that ad?
Wipeout.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're in a library. Rutger Hauer is on a...
Library ladder?
Yeah. I don't know what the other term would be.
Howard the librarian.
I think I know what you're getting at.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
He says something about a sandpit ostrich.
He says that the
Sandpaper
knowledge
ostrich?
is like a ostrich in a sandpit.
Yeah, something like that.
And then he pulls a dusty tome from off the shelf, and the
bookshelf flips around. Mm-hmm. Does the ladder itself also flip with it?
I don't know. I don't think we saw
together.
That. Yeah.
Okay.
He enters a magical realm where there's balloons, and the song "Wipeout" is playing.
When the balloons release.
Yeah,
and that's
it's like it's. Well, then he gets a Guinness.
Yeah.
Takes a sip.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's nonsense.
Yeah, it means nothing.
It's great, though.
I am reading it as Rutger Hauer is a librarian who has like a heart attack on that ladder, and his conception of heaven is that there's a secret realm wherein there are like 8 balloons that get released and he gets a beer, and that's his.
I think we're supposed to read it as that he's some kind of weird, like Uatu the Watcher type person that's like outside of time and space.
Sure, that's in the text.
Or like a Metron.
Yeah.
Who just sort of like appears.
Yeah.
In various scenarios and reacts. To
yeah. That. Yeah. I can buy that.
Next one looks promising.
Yeah.
Let's dive in.
Do it.
Oh yes.
It's not easy being a dolphin. It's not easy being a dolphin.
What?
All right, who wants to take this one away?
Okay. My question is like, what length of spot is like? You need literally 13 seconds of content.
But they paid for a dolphin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, who is the person who figures out the economics of like? Okay, here's the thing. We're gonna have to shoot this in like a fucking like dolphin pen.
Yeah, we
like it's an undercover
set outside of a dolphin.
Yeah, I'm sure it's in some sort of SeaWorld thing, and then they just put the set over it, and they're like, figure out a way to make the dolphin freak the fuck out and like go across the frame, because it's how we're sitting in like a living room style setting. That's a set, but with the dolphin outside the window.
Literally just drinking a Guinness and saying it must be hard to be a dolphin.
It's not easy being a dolphin.
That's the entire ad.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's just like, hey, just to remind you, Rutger Hauer is in these Guinness ads.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. He's the guy. He's our spokesman.
He's your guy.
He's our pitchman.
Crazy actor with a mullet.
Let's dive into the next one. This one's titled Guinness Sauna Advert.
Oh. Yeah.
Chilly, isn't it?
Okay. I mean, that ad is just Rutger Hauer in a
that
sauna.
One was even shorter.
Yeah.
No, that was like nothing.
That was
a nothing ad.
It was 11 seconds long.
Okay, so this ad is just bullshit, basically.
Yeah.
It's 11 seconds long. It's Rutger Hauer in a sauna being like, oh, the sauna's hot? Well, my beer is cold. Ta-ta.
I hope it was like the exact same set where they shot the dolphin thing, where they just like crammed in a bunch of 11-second ads. Yeah. So they're basically in like a SeaWorld setting, and it's just like...
There's a bunch of extras in this ad.
But that's what I'm saying. They're just like a bunch of people's like, can we get the people with towels to file in? And then it's like Howard just lies down on the ground.
This probably costs so much for 11 seconds.
You have to pay all the motherfuckers in that ad. There's at least like 5 or 6 other extras.
And the whole thing is just like I was saying, it's
got like a hundo for the day.
To remind you that this is an ad campaign, basically. Because it accomplishes nothing else. It makes a dumb joke and that's it.
But it also, you have to be reliant on the concept of true genius, or pure genius, I should say.
I liked it.
So demure.
Was it? Did Howard seem quite sensual in that?
No, he's being playful.
I'd fuck him. I mean, look at him. He's like lying down on the ground.
And he is always in black.
Yeah.
In all of his commercials.
He also seems to have his.
He has a look.
Yeah, his what's the Gene Simmons movie that we watched of his?
Yes, he definitely has
He has
wanted
that
dead or
hair.
alive hair. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It must be like
It
late
must be that
80s.
era. Yeah.
Very moosed.
It's a very moose mullet.
Yeah.
And that is a
Beautiful.
good movie that I wanted dead or alive.
Next.
Next. MTV's Next.
It's coming. It's coming.
The planet Mars is paradise. Voices are never raised in argument. Never.
What?
There's only one sex, so no emotional problems, no fast cars, no noisy discos. Everyone is equal and lives to 803. Me? I sold up and moved to Earth.
Okay.
Take it away, Allison.
No, I don't want to say it. You say it.
He's on Mars.
But is
You know-
he's not on Mars in that one. He's sold up to Earth at that point, right?
Is that... Wait, so is this ad set on Earth or
I believe
Mars?
this ad is set on Earth, but the idea is that he has emigrated from
It's
Mars.
kind of a they live
Oh,
situation
yes.
looking like.
No, you know what it is? It's,
Well, like,
it's
he's
a
like-
reverse
like-
Blade Runner.
Yeah, totally. It is.
He moved
I
him
thought-
off-world
I figured
to
him as like
Earth.
one of the Martians or one of the
No,
aliens.
no. He's clearly an Earthling.
I think in everyone there was a color pattern throughout it.
Yeah.
Red,
There were
white,
aliens.
black, and olive green.
There were people that looked weird.
With I think Coltrane playing.
Ooh, yeah, I think you may be right about that.
And
So yeah, but the idea is that it's
Weird.
just like him talking about what Mars is like
what Mars
now.
is like. And I find the line, there's one sex, so there's no emotional
yeah,
bond.
that's
Yeah,
a good
troubling.
line. That is,
it's very of its time, if
Yes.
you will.
Yes.
Would have generated a think piece if created
Yes.
now.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just sort of a goofy imagery. It's like Hauer walking through a door that
and
is
then
like
the
a
door
set.
turns out to be like just a thing
A
that
prop.
you guys are holding. And
Yeah,
move it out.
and then it's like him sitting in almost like a park that has like a sidewalk through it, and there's like an easy chair that he sits down, and he says like, what was his line? Like, I sold up and moved to Earth.
Yes.
Yeah, he smiles.
I
It's
think
the same
it's-
chair as in the dolphin one, and then there's a
Yes.
whale sound as well.
Which might be a trend.
Oh,
Which is
maybe
super
that's the
random.
through
Yeah,
line.
yeah,
The
yeah,
whale.
yeah.
Why
They're
though?
like sea animals.
That's pointless.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Water.
It's not a
beer.
dolphin sound though.
Water, beer, Guinness, pure genius.
Pure genius. It's pure genius. This ad campaign is pure genius. This was maybe the most surreal in a while.
Since the first one, I feel like.
Sure.
The screenshot of the next one is familiar. It
Yeah.
looks like
It might be a short.
I think it's a shortened
a
version.
shortened
It
version
might be a
of
short
one.
version of the one we saw. That was
Yeah,
a yawn,
let's take a
by the
look.
way.
Let's take a look.
I wasn't stabbed. Yeah, this is a short version.
If you keep an open mind, you'll discover dark secrets. Have you been here long?
That's some foam, baby. Some head. Yeah. Next one I think is a twins.
Let's
one, which is
pop over
really
to the
fun.
next one.
It's
Next
really
one.
fun.
Here we go. Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Really?
Here we go.
Okay. Go to hell, Pelly.
So you can tell us apart. He sounds different. Do I? See what you mean.
Okay, we
Yeah.
can talk about that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
We can definitely.
We got twins.
We got our twins.
Mac, describe to me this advert.
So Howie is on some sort of. It looks like
An Italian villa,
I was
perhaps?
about to say exactly that,
Is
and
it
it's
George Clooney's place?
Yeah, and perhaps
Like Como?
Clooney has probably directed this ad. Very young. We're talking like
Very young. Pre-movie
ER.
career. Yeah.
Um,
When he still had his pig.
so we're on the villa,
Yeah.
and Hauer is walking in his classic black outfit
Mm-hmm.
with a Guinness in hand, and who does he confront but another Rutger Hauer?
No, his Guinness is in a glass or a can?
It's in a can. He's pouring it.
Mm-hmm.
This is like
He's looking for that pub style taste.
this ad is 20 seconds long, and it's probably my favorite one so far.
Really?
That's
Okay.
a bold statement.
Well, it's 20 seconds long. So of like the very short versions, then this is
There's some fun stuff coming up. But so this ad is making a point about pub style versus not pub style, right?
Yeah, I think this was like the introduction of like the Guinness in a can versus Guinness in a bottle thing.
Oh, wow.
If I had to hazard a guess.
maybe this was like
An
when they were
upgrade.
like, now we have a can.
Well, the thing is that like beer in a can has a stigma to it, but it actually ages better and stores better because light pollution makes beer taste shitty. So cans are better for storing beer.
The aluminum doesn't do anything to it.
Evidently not, at least at our current era. I couldn't speak to 1990 quality of aluminum.
I had no idea.
Right. Okay. So what happens? What transpires in this ad when Hauer confronts his other?
He knocks on his head. What does he say to him?
I don't recall.
Yeah,
I'm
we'd have to
spacing.
replay it. I don't know.
But it's like he asks him some sort of banal question and then knocks on his head, and it's like his head is completely empty, like boom, boom,
Like
boom.
a can.
Yeah,
would be.
exactly.
But they're simultaneously telling you to drink Guinness out of a can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But pouring it in a glass.
Make sure you
Right.
still use the glass, but
Yeah.
start with the can.
Yeah.
Buy Guinness in a can at your local 7-Eleven equivalent,
Right.
and then go home and pour it in like the pint glass you own.
Yep. That's about the gist of it.
Oh, God, Europe is weird. Okay. Let's keep on going.
The next one, here it comes.
I have a secret, but I'm a little shy, and I can't just tell anyone, so you'll only hear it if you're telepathic. Thank you for listening.
All right. So this ad is what's it? It's 2 ads.
There are 2 ads that are exactly the same except for the final aspect of them.
Right.
Which is Hauer in a barber shop, and we're seeing through the barber shop window a bunch of very similar looking bald, I believe they're all men.
No, they're women too.
Yeah, outside.
Women too.
Yeah.
Okay, but inside the barber shop, we see Hauer with a steaming towel on his face.
Right.
The towel gets pulled off
Yeah.
by a bald woman, and Hauer says something to the effect of, "Here, everyone is a psychic. Everyone's a psychic."
Yes. Yeah.
And then, "Can you read my mind?" And the first of these ads is just about 5 seconds of dead air
Right.
with Hauer.
Like, can you read my mind?
Howard
Yeah.
staring into camera, and then how does it end? Is it just him saying like "thank you"?
I think so. He
Yeah.
says this is for the telepathic people,
Yeah.
and then she touches his forehead like that's supposed to transmit the message,
Mm-hmm.
and then he takes a sip of beer, and that's it.
Yeah, and then
That one's the good one.
that's the
in my
best
opinion.
one.
Yeah.
I think
The
that's
other-
an amazing ad.
Ruins it.
It's so stupid.
Go on.
Okay, the other one is the exact same setup, but then we hear Howard through the bald woman who's touching his
Right. It's like a voiceover.
temples.
His mouth's not moving.
Yeah, and it's something about like his
He
dog.
he lost his teddy bear Horace,
Right.
That's what it is.
and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
and then
it's
Howard.
so stupid.
Yeah, it's like I lost my teddy bear horse, and then like it cuts back to Howard. And he's just like, "Thank you." And
That's
then
what you wanted us to
That
That
know?
was his telepathic message.
That's what you wanted us to know. Okay. All right.
yeah, it's real weird.
Seems weird that a man in his like 40s
As a
would still be thinking about that. But it's like,
Horace.
It's a rosebud situation.
That's the only way to make it make sense.
Yeah. Well, It is what it is.
Yeah.
Hauer. Second tower.
Hauer.
Hey. So what? We got like
We got
Uno
one more.
mas. Uno mas.
Uno mas.
Uno mas.
All right, last one. Here we go.
Lay it on me, brother.
My brother and I are identical in every way. Except you can take me anywhere.
Okay.
Okay, so he has little tiny
So
quips.
this is a follow-up.
We
to
got
the Twins
quips
one.
and we got chips in equal measure currently.
Yeah. So yeah, this is like a follow-up to the other Twins one that we saw, and it's dumb and short.
Yeah, it is 10 seconds long. Hauer and Hauer
Ow.
sitting on a couch on like scaffolding.
Yeah, like
Or
some
a
kind of
roof?
weird urban rooftop. I'm sorry, my chips are just breaking in this salsa.
It's okay. There's not much left. Here.
I guess
Scoot it
Hauer
towards you.
Prime is
Hauer Prime.
drinking out of a can,
Yeah, and then
And slurping.
he's oh yeah.
and his brother is
Thank you
not.
for the audio clip right there.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's sweet goodness. Do you want real?
Yeah, there you go.
So I feel like
It's
I feel like
disgusting.
Hauer,
That's great, Guinness.
this whole thing, the campaign is blowing my mind because Howard's supposed to be the constant. You know, he's the mascot for Guinness.
Sure.
A pure
And
genius.
all of these commercials, these shorts, some of them are like so short.
Well, what it makes me
And-
wonder is was Howard a superstar in Europe around this time?
I would
thinking,
assume
yeah,
so.
I'm thinking yes because he's acting like it.
But he was only doing American movies, so like maybe that was the thing. Like this is the guy who went. From
What if he was?
Holland
What if he was?
to
What if he's
America.
bragging? What if he was like,
maybe
I'm
he's
in
like a bit
American
of a
movies.
he's in sort of a Fassbender like phase of his career
There you
at
go.
that point because he's like
Sure.
crossing over to American films,
Mhm.
but then doing this like specifically European like audience ad campaign
Yeah.
that is
Fassbender done
quote
ads?
unquote sophisticated. Maybe he's done some in Japan. I don't know, but I'm saying in terms of like the way he's viewed as sort of like an art house actor who's crossed over to Hollywood, it's a similar trajectory, arguably.
When I was in France a few years ago, it's when Scarlett Johansson became really popular,
Mhm.
and everyone loved her and was always talking to me about her.
Oh, I love her.
Eh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
she's
can
not
see.
that much older than me.
Eh.
Too bad she's married.
Nah.
Yeah, well,
Eh.
Yeah. Well.
happens to the best of us.
Yeah,
took our time.
that's a wrap. That like all of them, we've watched them all. The entire Guinness collection.
He doesn't have any like brand new ones.
No.
There is
No.
one more that we did not see on this, which is a reiteration of the one where he walks through the false door, but he's an older
Yes,
Oh.
Let
exactly.
me look it up.
man. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
we can
see if
find
we
it.
can find it.
Yeah, that'd
If
be
you
cool.
can't, we'll just
Let's
move
do
on to
pants. Let's do our
pants.
segments.
Yeah, let's do the segments.
He's
Yeah.
in the same clothes.
Well, that is pants.
Was that a bitchy enough look?
Wow.
He
just
is
gave me a
wearing
terrible look.
Black pants the entire time.
You deserve to be shamed.
Sorry, I ruined
for
your
casting
segment.
shade on our pants segment.
I didn't know. I just blew it.
Well, you didn't blow it so much as you deeply offended me on a core level.
I guess. Sorry.
It's fine.
Go ahead. Go
I mean,
ahead.
it would not have been a good segment.
With your segment.
Because he's just wearing black slacks.
I don't even know if he's wearing pants. No, he is wearing pants.
He is wearing
I'm
pants.
100%. I think I would have noticed. It was him in like
No, it
a
seemed
black
like
shirt, a black
And briefs.
coat, and
it seemed like
black briefs.
and a lot of them it looked like he was just
Black
wearing like
socks
a
and
cloak. Like he was just wearing a black cloak, and
It
it,
was
looked
very-
like in a
it
lot
was
of them,
very
like capey
Yes,
or a
it
cloak.
was a Neo-esque
Yeah.
trench coat, if you will.
Would it be alright if I gave a preview to the next Hauer Hour segment after this episode?
Huh?
Listen, look and listen. I'm going to take you guys down
Memory lane.
into a black hole, and you're not going to come out for a hot min.
It's gonna be like Interstellar.
It's gonna be very plaid.
Come out and everyone I know is like so old. They're like, I miss you. I knew you'd come back. I'm like, I know.
will take you somewhere.
I just had to watch
that-
Smallville with Pelly. I need come back.
Anyway, look forward to that on the next hour episode. It's going to be great.
Maybe. In the near future. Okay, so we did pants.
Pants, he's wearing them.
Yes.
I blew that one.
It.
Sorry.
No, I guess it's okay.
Aww.
And I think best lines is just covered in and of the ads.
Yeah, I think we've got that.
So
drinking game rules.
Yes. I guess just
whenever Rutger Hauer
yeah
has a glass of Guinness, drink.
Simple.
Every time you watch a Guinness ad, drink.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
Makes sense.
Which makes the hard one marry, fuck, kill.
Yeah.
Which version?
So Rutger Hauer's lunk-headed twin.
Yes, the twin is involved. Yeah.
And then what do we have? One of the psychics or the dolphin?
Oh, I would fuck one of the psychics. Yeah, that
the bald one.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's on the top of my list.
But between Rutger Hauer's twin and a bald psychic, she's on the top of your list.
Yes.
Wait, what about the guy playing chess with him in The Whale?
We don't ever see his
Abraham
face.
Lincoln.
You can throw him in there though.
Let's assume that's Abraham Lincoln.
All right.
We're gonna broaden it.
There you go.
Okay.
I just realized the fan was on for the whole
Was it
episode.
really loud though? It was kind of just background.
I think you might have a good solid hum for the whole thing.
I don't care.
Sorry.
Okay, so murder, fuck, kill, but then also something else because we have 4.
It's marry, fuck,
I
kill.
will never get it right. I'm sorry.
I love that there's like double kill in your version. Like,
Yeah, but
murder. Who am I murdering? Who am I killing?
And then
who am I
fucking?
You're
Yeah,
a psychopath, man.
I know. I do sound like a monster. This segment's terrible. I hate myself. But then if we're doing 4, then there has to be another thing.
We're not doing four.
So what are the 3? Rutger Hauer's twin, and the
bald lady. I'm fucking the shit out of the bald lady.
You're marrying one of the Rutger Hauers.
I am, yeah. I think I'm marrying the smart Rutger Hauer. Because the other one's dumb, right?
So you're killing the dumb Hauer.
Yeah.
No, maybe he's fun because he's easygoing with his manners.
That could be true. But I trust the other one to take me on a weird trip, you know?
Yeah, but
like our marriage would be an adventure.
Or it would be wildly insufferable because all he'd be doing is saying like pretentious shit while he's drinking Guinness every day.
That's true. Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. They're both alcoholics, probably.
They definitely are.
Okay.
They're slamming G's all day.
I just loved it. I wake up and I slam a G.
Yeah, I think that you have to go fuck pretentious Hauer. I think you marry the psychic woman because she'll know what you're thinking, and if you're on the same wavelength, then you can have a really fulfilling relationship. Smart. And you kill the dumb multiplicity Rutger Hauer, he's got nothing going on.
Okay, you've changed my mind a little bit, and I'm gonna flip some shit on you right now. You're right about the marriage portion.
I like to think of myself as very
100%.
mature.
You're so on that.
Thank you.
But I am going to fuck the brains out of the dumb Hauer.
You think he's just like sort of a dumb fuck machine?
Yes.
That's a good call because like you kind of don't want to have to deal with pillow talk from like the pretentious one who's like, let me talk about my pure genius. That's like, I fucked you and I'm like so done with you.
No,
it's like my interest in you, like you're my fuck object, and like there's nothing.
Proust? No.
No.
And the dumb one is like, yeah, I am.
The dumb one's just gonna fall asleep, or be like, do you want to play like Sega? Like you're not gonna have to like deal with it.
Or the dumb one's just gonna be like, I'm down for whatever.
That's also a valid point. Yeah. I mean, he's so dumb. Like you're not gonna have to deal with like his existential nonsense.
No.
I think you may be right. I think you're right. Yeah. I'm gonna remedy my vote and say that you're correct about that. But we're both marrying the psychic.
Yes.
Okay. What do you guys think?
Well, what are the
I agree.
What are the options again?
The psychic, it's a dumb Rutger Hauer twin, or the pretentious smart Rutger Hauer twin.
Although he does make funny comments sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't
but not
look at
super
somebody
funny.
say, "Got bon mot" after I come.
Yeah.
I need that.
No.
Guys, shit gets real on the Hauer Hour podcast.
Very, very real. I can tell. So there's the twin.
Yikes!
There's the twin. There's the dumb.
No.
There's the pretentious Hauer. There's the literally like tin-headed twin, and then there is the psychic lady who is bald.
The barber. I think she's a barber.
Yeah,
She cuts hair.
Allison,
Yeah,
you go
she's-
first.
No, I agree with both Mac and Jason
You're gonna roll
with
theirs.
their IDs.
You'd
All.
fuck the barber?
Yeah.
Cha cha.
Whatever.
Are they rich? Do they have money?
How do
We don't
what?
know.
We don't
I
know.
don't think that the
You're
economy
Context
is.
for that.
You're
There's
just
no
going
sense
off
of
what
economy.
we were watching.
I feel like
It's telling about you that you're
Yeah,
more
yeah, I'll
concerned
tell you
about
what.
economic
From what I saw,
situation.
From what I saw in the commercials, Rich has hella money. They're
Who's
rolling
rich?
it. They're just rolling
What?
in black trench coats. They fucking like are just. They got this thing under wraps.
You're talking about Big Hauer?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I would marry Big Hauer for his money. I would. I'd fuck the dumb ones just to get out of the way, and then I would kill the what's left over.
The psychic?
Yeah, I'll kill
You're
him.
gonna kill the psychic?
Yeah, because
They
you know, like, I
clearly
don't
all
want that
have
shit
a
fucking with my
Pelly.
shit. I
No,
don't
no,
want that
no,
shit
no,
fucking
no.
with my shit.
No, no, no.
That you would fuck someone to keep them out of the way. What does that mean?
Because they stand, because they you know, it stands in front of me and the killing the other one.
What are you
You're
talking?
in my way. I'm gonna fuck you and then you'll be gone.
Like as soon as you fuck them, it's like a shotgun blast, like out of your trajectory. Where it's like, oh, thank God, I got that out of the way.
Weird 4chan video game that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I got this
Like,
under
just
control.
fuck people till they get out of your way.
I got it.
I think maybe I'd want to marry or kill the guy in the whale. Because I would kill him as a
You wanna
mercenary.
marry or kill Abraham Lincoln?
Yeah. He's not. Yeah, because maybe I'd marry him because maybe it'd be an interesting life inside a whale.
Yeah, I see
Or
that.
I would maybe kill him as a mercenary act.
But then you're stuck in the whale by yourself. You're
That
gonna
is
play
true.
checkers against yourself.
I'd play it with.
There is actually one other dude in there, but I don't know what he's doing. He's
I-
just kind of hanging out.
I'd play it with.
Background?
Yeah, there
Rutger.
is.
Really?
Yeah.
In the shorter segment,
the
you see.
shorter
I think
one.
it's a wider. It's either a wider
strange.
camera angle or it's something I didn't notice in the longer one. But
So
there
did
is
Ridley
another
Scott
guy.
shoot that too?
I presume so. That'd be my assumption. It'd be weird if they were like doing like pickups and Ridley Scott was like, "No, I'm done."
How come the dolphin was never one of these guys? We could marry the dolphin.
Or the
Sure.
white whale. The
The
balloon.
white-
Do you want to marry?
There are people that have sex with
No,
dolphins.
no. I don't want that
I know
as
like
an option.
one
And they
You brought this
claim
up.
it's consensual.
I was
You
saying-
are the one who opened this
That's
door.
just because in 2 commercials they were large parts of the commercial.
Yeah, okay, but this is still your fault.
I
Stop
know.
trying to acquit
I
yourself.
know.
You put the
Never
dolphin on the
mind.
sexual menu tonight,
No.
so
I brought up the
No.
No,
yeah,
no,
he did.
they're real. It's
no, I know
Ew.
you did, but you brought up the idea of them being relevant to this mini game.
Okay, that's my
and
fault.
we're done with this minigame.
Yeah,
I
This is the
think-
conclusion of the minigame.
And so it ends.
Whoever's got something still there.
There's a thing in there, I guess.
Chink,
Whatever.
chink, chink,
Chinkity
chink, chink.
chinkity.
Well,
Okay, good,
That's all of our segments, yeah.
we did not do a Kilmer Filmers.
Do you want to?
I think we should do.
No, probably there's
It's
some
a rough-
time limit
yeah.
on our podcast. All right, so all that's left now is a little Kilmer Filmers, and I will start the timer right-ish now's about.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Bruno Houtenfaust.
I am the greatest swordsman that ever lived.
My name is August Christopher.
I'm your huckleberry.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Bruno Houtenfaust.
I am the greatest swordsman that ever lived.
My name is August Christopher.
I'm your huckleberry.
Here we go. Okay, so what I want to talk about is Lost Soul, which is
Lost
on
Soul's so
Netflix
good.
right now, and is the documentary about the making of Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yes.
Which a a tour named Rutger Stanley was
How
supposed to make.
is he is he really in a tour?
Arguably.
He's done 2 not very good movies.
Okay, sure. But he's a weirdo who got...
What was the one they were talking about where he was... before he got the green light for Dr. Moreau?
He did Hardware.
Hardware. That was the one everybody was talking about.
Dust Devil, I want to say, is the other one.
How crazy is it at the beginning where he's talking about, like, my mom was a witch, and I'm crazy.
He's a witch. He's a magician,
totally.
like Grant
He hired
Morrison.
someone to put hexes.
Yeah, because things weren't going well at the beginning of production for Island of Dr. Moreau, which is his favorite book. You can tell. Like, he's so obsessed with it.
Yeah, it's clearly like a passion project.
A passion project. And
I think his movie would have been amazing, but not commercial.
No.
I do not
It'd probably be like one of his
amazing
B
having
movies.
seen like his other movies, and they're not very good.
I like those movies.
They're not very good.
It is pretty
Did they have a following?
amazing that he got...
Did they have a following, though?
The Hardware does have a cult following.
that's what I
Dust
thought,
Devil,
yeah.
not so much, but people like Hardware. I've seen it twice. Hardware is not a good movie. Like, there are good parts of it, but on a scripting level and in execution, no, it's not good.
Yeah.
I've not seen it.
Agree to disagree,
Matt, can you see from the studio's eyes why it's a good idea to hire this man?
No, it's a miracle that they even did.
Well, think about this, though, because part of the documentary was also New Line Cinema, and how it was a newer... They were like all they were producing was like those like low budget Freddy movies.
They were taking risks, and then they
were
lost
always
money.
But what year was that?
We're talking like
early 90s.
90s, yeah.
So they launched in what, 87 with Nightmare on Elm Street, yeah?
Yeah.
So that's well within their wheelhouse, and like I think that they didn't really start diversifying their product until The Mask. I think that was one of their big breakout hits that was outside their general milieu. Yes, it was.
Have you not watched the documentary yet?
On which one?
The one we're talking about right now.
Yeah, I have seen that, but like, in terms of like big breakout hits, like that was one of the first like ones that was not horror or more genre based.
Yeah,
The Mask was like a big deal.
Yeah, it was.
So I understand why they would go with Richard Stanley, because in the same way, like, why would you go with Wes Craven, rest in peace?
Sure, totally.
Where it's like he's coming from the bleakest of like exploitation films, because his first film is hideously sexually violent.
It's a porno, right?
It's not a porno. Well, he did direct porno, but his first feature was like a rape revenge film. So like that's kind of where they're coming from. Like, I mean, he had done.
Yeah, you'll just like find this guy in the gutter who's like done cool stuff.
Yeah, it's like more of an independent-minded director who they're giving like a studio project to. So it is following, you know, logically it makes sense, but it also makes sense why this guy got completely overwhelmed, because it's not something where they're on a bunch of sets. They're out in the fucking like jungle.
Yeah, and that's another thing about
Or on a
this
tropical island or
documentary
whatever.
that just is so... This documentary is great. By the way, listeners, watch this documentary. It's good.
It's amazing.
It's
really
very interesting.
good. It's very insightful. It takes you somewhere that you
If
didn't
you like
think
that
you could
Jodorowsky
go.
documentary about Dune, then you will be super into this.
So good. And in the beginning of the film, it talks about how what's his name again? The director, the first
Richard
director,
Stanley.
Richard Stanley was given pretty much the keys to this film and deciding where the film would be shot. It was
He's
his
basically
choice.
given like carte blanche.
Yeah,
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah, he chose this location, which is
very remote.
A crazy remote location. Very amateur decision, by the way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which is,
I mean, like, but
no, it is, because like on a
yeah.
sheer logistical level, like you're.
Yeah.
But that's also a
true.
failure of the producers to not be like,
To
no,
not
we
be
need
right.
to like be
Exactly.
somewhere not
there
so
was a
isolated.
lot of
like maybe Hawaii instead.
bad
or something.
decisions.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of like fuck ups that are inherent
Yeah.
to the production of that film.
But
So like,
ultimately, he decided where this movie was going to be shot. And he picked like the worst time of the season, all that stuff.
everything about it was a fuck up.
Then he picks Brando and Val Kilmer.
Yeah,
No,
good call.
he did not pick them. Pause.
Oh, okay. Time's up, but I do want to keep talking about this.
Oh,
That's okay.
oh my God! Yeah, this is we haven't gotten about Kilmer yet.
Grab
Well, we can.
Well, he chose initially Brando and James Woods.
He didn't choose them.
Well, that was a studio decision.
The studio chose them, and he
hot actor James Woods.
Right, and
he wanted it.
Kilmer was supposed to be the Brando role.
No. Like he already casted the guy who would play the Kilmer role. Remember?
Oh, right, the
that
guy from
actor
the island. Yes.
Who was just like, oh, I actually got reverted into like a shit role.
Yes.
When I was supposed to be the main character. I don't know his name. Super, like, just watching the documentary, I felt for the guy. I was just like, wow, like.
That really sucks.
Like, it sucked. I feel like he would have done a better job than Kilmer did. Because Kilmer...
Kilmer's like super checked out this morning.
Here's what we're getting to. Kilmer only signed on to this role because he was manipulated and brought into the project through lies that it would be something it wasn't. Now, I'm not...
And he wants to work with Brando.
He wants to work with Brando. And he... Like, I'm not giving him, like... the favor here, but he was lied to about what this movie was going to be and all that stuff. Like,
sure.
He signed on to it for a reason and whatever. He's fresh off of Batman Forever, or actually, did he do Forever before this?
Yeah, that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
And that's why he's such a fucking asshole.
Exactly. And he realized Kilmer realized that he is not part of what he thought he signed up for. Even though
he's in a real piece of shit.
Yeah, he realized he was in a piece of shit, so then he decided to fuck with the fucking crew and fuck with the cast.
Or did he decide that right away? That's like the mystery of the movie.
Well, he did that as soon as he realized that
I don't know.
He signed a contract and then realized things were not what he thought they were after he signed. Because otherwise, why would he be there?
I think the fun thing about the movie did Val Kilmer show up as an asshole, or did he just like become an asshole?
Morph into an asshole.
He realized it was like a complete mess, and Marlon Brando was messing with everyone constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they talked about that. I think they said that he showed up like that.
He showed up like that?
I think he was probably at the height of his hubris because of the fact that he was
clearly,
like,
is what they were saying.
Box office draw.
He was like a bully.
But what I gathered from it is that he showed up as a bully because he showed up pissed off about something. He showed up pissed off. I'm not trying to like give him the benefit of the doubt. He is a fucking
I don't
dick
think you
sheet.
should.
But
I think he showed up like an asshole.
He did show up like an asshole, but he showed up like an asshole because there was something that was going on between him and his agent that had to have been fucked.
Okay.
He didn't show up to just be a dick. He's like, I'm excited to go to this movie to be a dick. It's okay, I'm not peeking or anything.
It's coming off what, Tombstone and Batman Forever at this point?
I think that sounds right. Yeah, I don't know. It's a mystery, but the documentary itself is well worth watching.
The real weirdo was Marlon Brando. He was the guy that
he's like leading the charge in terms of bad behavior.
I was thinking
even though
earlier.
I'm sorry, but just real quick, he was making the rounds. As soon as he showed up on set, finally showed up on set.
Yes.
He made the rounds and met all the extras and shaked all their hands and was just like, I'm so glad to meet you.
He's a crazy person.
You dress like an animal. I love it. Like just weird, very crazy.
No, I was just thinking about how like most of my favorite documentaries are about the making of movies.
So good.
Yes.
American movie.
Yes, right. Like either movies that come out or movies that don't come out. So like,
I mean, the Apocalypse Now one.
Exactly. Hearts of Darkness.
Yeah, Hearts of Darkness is one of
them. That movie came out. I guess American movie counts as a movie that came out.
Yeah, I mean that was like a big
Coven.
Yeah. Well, no, but it technically came out. I remember seeing VHS of it at my old video store. Rest in peace.
It exists.
Yeah,
it's not a good movie, but it exists. But like Lost in La Mancha, that's like a movie that never came out.
Right.
And like it's fascinating to watch the documentary about like a movie that didn't happen.
Yeah, totally. And that's like obviously a big thing that's happening now with the
Death of Superman.
One.
That was great too.
And Jodorowsky's Dune being sort of like the one that led the charge, and then we have the one hypothetically coming out about George Miller's Justice League as well.
Wait, that's a thing?
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna make a documentary.
That's where the footage, or not even footage, I should say, costume and makeup tests have been like coming out from that Twitter account because those people are making a documentary on what the film was going to be about.
I don't know if I want to see that.
There's a really good Freddy documentary that's on Netflix right now.
Long.
It's like 6 hours long. Allison and I actually ended up reviewing Freddy 2 because of that documentary.
Freddy 2 is so fascinating.
Freddy 2's insane.
Yes,
I love Freddy 2.
Freddy 2 has a lot going for it. Great soundtrack as well.
Yes, and like the craziest gay subtext.
Yeah.
It's out of control.
As you were talking about on that podcast you were on.
It's called Never Sleep Again, The Elm Street Legacy.
Yeah.
I love that documentary.
So...
And
that is on the Blu-ray and the DVD box set, by the way.
Did not think it was gay.
He didn't get it. He didn't pick up on the
Allison had a good... when we watched it... Allison, you had a really good reception of what was going on.
Oh, it was mostly the writer. He was like, yeah, I wrote it this way.
Yeah.
And everyone else was like, oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I guess it looks really gay.
Except that kid's gay.
Yeah, the main actor did. He was gay. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like realization that he's like a gay dude and like freaking out about it. Yeah, it's a deeply fascinating.
It was good, yeah.
And Freddy's not scary in it.
Yeah.
No.
Just shows up at a pool party and breaks some plates.
Yeah.
Actually,
bizarre.
He kills kids at the pool party.
But yeah, he does. But the film itself is not Freddy-centric.
He's
really.
not as threatening as he was in the first one.
Well, but he becomes fully manifested because he's trying to possess someone.
No, I get it, Pelly. I'm just saying he's not scary in the second movie at all.
No,
really.
No, because there is no nightmare violence in the film, actually, at all.
Yeah. Well, the nightmare is the concept of being a gay guy.
Yeah, the nightmare is committing crimes you didn't know you did.
Yeah, but that's
in and of itself a weird metaphor for homosexuality.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think that movie is in a weird way, kind of an important text. It's reflective of its era.
It's like the
in a
second
sort of
best
subversive way.
Movie because it has that. You don't think so?
Oh, absolutely not.
I thought it was fun.
Oh, you rake.
I thought it was fun.
I thought it was really good, and it has that scene in it where he is
the dance scene is so
up
good.
His bedroom.
Yeah,
it's my favorite.
So homoerotic. I love it.
I think in terms of quality, I would probably put 1, New Nightmare, Dream Warriors, and Freddy 2.
Dream Warriors is great.
Dream Warriors is phenomenal.
Is it 4?
I think it's 4, directed by Rennie Harlan.
It is, yes. Yeah,
yeah. 2 has both kitsch appeal and a really fascinating sexual undercurrent. I think 2 has a lot that's interesting to dig into.
Yes.
As just pure cinema, I would say that Dream Warriors is the 3rd best.
Yeah.
New Nightmare has so much both visually and thematically that is more fascinating, and it's also an interesting precursor to Scream. Scream doesn't exist, honestly, without New Nightmare.
And, by the way, R.I.P. Wes Craven. Let's all take a moment real quick.
Jesus Christ, Jason.
We're taking a moment for Wes, and you're feeding him chips?
Pull your fucking hand out of the chip bag?
All right, whatever.
What is wrong with you?
Try. We'll take him out again.
Second moment.
For what's security?
Yeah, you can have a chip now, you piece of shit.
We love you, Wes. That's why we're talking about this right now.
How many Wes Craven movies have you even seen?
2.
Yeah, so go fuck yourself. Go shove that chip up your ass.
Alright.
Dude was prolific and also completely reinvented the genre in a number of ways.
No, he's a genius.
Yeah.
Miss him.
Okay, would we recommend these Hauer ads?
Yeah. Take a look at it. It'll take 5 minutes of your time.
Unless you're recording a podcast about it, in which case it will literally never end.
Well, take your entire life.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, take 15 minutes to watch these ads. They're great.
It's very strange.
Very strange.
Yeah, yes. I concur.
I mean, but like it's as strange as what they're doing now, like with Spice. What is it? This
Old Spice.
What you're saying?
Old Spice.
Where, like,
So those are comedic.
No, but that's
Those
on
are-
purpose in a different way.
Yeah, but like if you watch those, they're very bizarre in the sense that they're like going from one like that the whole minute and 30-second long version, where it went from one scene to the next scene to the next scene to the next scene, even though it was just very like
They're
very psychedelic and
what
weird.
they're doing similar is the fact that like an advertisement, when you think about it in terms of like what is the job of an advert? It is to sell you on
product.
why that product is good and why the Hauer one is subversive, and what you're talking about with the Old Spice ones is like it doesn't have anything to do with what the product does or like what makes it quality. It's much more like
Memorable,
kitsch, like it doesn't have anything to do with selling you on like its actual points
or talking about it as
or
well.
talking about it. Yeah, it's
you'll
just
talk
like,
about it with people.
It has nothing to do with the product.
No.
Like, do you know who made those ads?
No,
Tim and Eric.
it makes
Really? I didn't know
absolute
that.
sense to me.
Makes perfect
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
So
I knew that, but-
if this was
Weird.
in the 80s, they were children
And they did
when
the
they made
Tostinos
this.
ones as well.
When they made
Or
that.
at
Which
least
is
one of them.
much more obviously
Yeah.
That one they are
because
allowed
they're in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tostinos.
I didn't know
leaning
they
into
actually
the comedy
did.
circuit.
They air those? I thought that was
Yeah,
an
they do
actual
ad
like
work a
joke.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
A
I
lot
think
of
that's
those
a big
short, like
current of their
20-second ones
income.
had to have been like
Weird.
real quick,
That's
like
very
in
weird.
between commercials, because that was
Yeah.
that was going on in the late 80s, early 90s, where they would have commercials that were literally like 10 to 20 seconds long.
And that was my question is like where were these like advertising like things coming in, because the spots are so short.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It seemed really weird, but I don't know.
Well, it must have been all over Europe all the time.
Wow. I just don't know the European way. I'm just an unsophisticated American.
I'm drinking
Aren't we all?
Guinness
Your hams.
now.
And then he just got the Guinness.
I was.
This is fun, you guys. Thanks for letting us on.
Yeah, thank you.
Come on, shut up.
Thanks for letting us on in your apartment and
Yeah,
recording
thanks for
us.
letting
You're
us use your
welcome.
equipment. We'll have you on all the time.
No.
We'd love you.
No.
No, you're a little shy baby.
Please no. So stupid.
How do you guys sign off?
Yeah,
I don't know how we normally end it really abruptly. Just
Oh.
like
Bye.
We're gonna go graffiti a tower.
Bye.